Brooklyn Independent Television.
When we think of New York's Chinatown, Lower Manhattan automatically comes to mind. But 2010 census figures are shining light on a rapidly growing Chinese population in Brooklyn's Sunset Park. Fred Brown has more.
According to data from the recent 2010 census report, the Asian American community is one of the fastest growing in this country. We can find evidence of that certainly here at Sunset Park, which now in terms of population exceeds both Manhattan and Queens.
A lot of immigrants really have a cultural shock when they come here. They usually imagine that the United States is like the postcard views. But once they, get to their apartments, they realize that, hey, even though when I was a farmer in China, I had my own house. We're talking about house, it's not apartments. In here, you have a room.
They're desperate, some of them looking for work. They want to be prosperous, not only to support their family here, for their children to have their best education, but also to send money back to their families back home that may need it.
What we do is that we are a multi-human services organization. We have been around for the last 24 years. We saw the development of the Brooklyn Chinatown. At the very beginning, we were really a voluntary organization with 1 or 2 volunteers. But as we expand with the community, basically we serve about 2,500 people every single day through our 18 different locations throughout Brooklyn. Our services include daycare programs, after school and summer camp, youth programs, and a senior program, adult program, and social service. So basically, I guess as a major Asian organization in Brooklyn, basically we serve anything that comes into our office, mostly.
Sunset Park, Brooklyn has historically been an immigrant neighborhood. And there have been a number of people that have come to these shores because it's always been a working neighborhood. Right now, the demographics reflect Chinese and Latino families, new immigrants, and many of them in Sunset Park anyway, from the Fujianese portion of China. First generation immigrants, some of which are documented, some of which are undocumented. So this has historically been this neighborhood.
What happened, the myth of Chinatown and the myth of the Chinese culture is that, they all do well in school, they go to good school, they go to college, but in reality, a lot of children, they're falling behind. And parents, they work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, they work out of state. You don't really have much supervision for the children.
The Center for Family Life partners with a number of Head Starts and also grade schools and even mental health providers in the neighborhood, so that families who come from China who want to learn about best practices for raising their children, that want to learn about how they can best advocate for their children in the education in the schools in this neighborhood, then we would provide guidance and support and information.
Employment is a big issue as well because it's so populated, but how many Chinese restaurants you have, even though you have a lot of Chinese restaurants, and how many waiter positions that people could have.
I recall 20-somewhat years ago, people had to pay money under the table in order to get a small apartment in Manhattan, Chinatown. So therefore, little by little, people start moving to other boroughs. And Brooklyn was one of the areas that was being chosen.
It's more like a fate that, the energy drives together. It's not like someone planned to have a Chinatown because it serves multiple functions. That's why it attracts people in one place, Brooklyn.
Become a fan on Facebook, like Brooklyn Independent Television.